everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and today I'm going to take you guys on a vlog because I'm doing a billion projects today, including filming a fermentation video. I'm fermenting pickles, and then also I'm going to do onions, and then I am going to be doing medicinal Friday. So that's going to be tomorrow's video. I'm actually filming this Friday and Saturday, so if you guys watch this one on Saturday, then yesterday's video was going to be all about marigolds. Mia and my goddaughter picked a bunch of these, and now I am drying them so that I can turn them into medicine. And then we also have a bunch of onions that I am going to be chopping these ones up and preserving these, and then the red ones I am going to be lacto fermenting too as well, so that we can have tons of ferments going so that they are ready for the fall. Now I want to take you guys outside because I want to show you the compost bin, because the compost bin has been so active. So do you see all of those little roly-polies in there? And I had just filled this thing with greens maybe like 3 days ago. So now I see why my little seedlings were getting eaten, because these things are little voracious eaters. The worms aren't even in here. The worms have been in the big bed. So I'm gonna add some more kale out of the freezer in here in hopes that I can keep up with their little voracious appetites. But if you guys notice this, look at all this amazing soil that they have turned all of the greens into. That's a coffee filter that I just threw the whole coffee filter in there, and it's already almost turned into soil. But look at that, guys. And this is why we don't want to harm the roly-polies. We just don't want them to eat our veggies. But if you give them something else to eat, they will. See, and as you can see, guys, everything is making it now that our little starts, they're starting to get a chance to grow up, because now we're feeding the roly-polies. Now that's one of the reasons why I wanted to encourage you guys not to just destroy all bugs in your garden, because not all bugs, and actually I'll just say all bugs are not bad in your garden. Even the aphids that are eating your things, they're eating your things for a reason. And once you find out what that reason is, then you can better control it. Versus if it's just roly-polies that are eating my starts because I no longer have food in my compost bin, I need to have things in my compost bin for them to compost. Because if they don't compost it, then I don't have then soil and castings in order to provide nutrients for my garden beds. So they are important and they play an important role in my garden. Now, where I went wrong with that is that I stopped feeding the compost bin because I wanted the worms to go out into the beds and eat the roots, which is what they did. If you dig anywhere in my beds, you will find worms. But the roly-polies aren't going to be that as adventurous as going through the ground and digging in for roots. They're just going to go above ground and eat whatever is convenient for them. So by controlling the situation, by putting more food in the compost bin, I controlled the population of the roly-polies by not eating my plants. And then also I'm now getting more soil, because right now I have probably converted about 2 frozen bags of vegetables from old leaves from my winter garden now to soil that I'm going to be able to use for my garden, with tons of castings, tons of nutrients, tons of just good things that are going to help my plants to grow. So let's head back out, because there's a couple things that I want to harvest so that I can make some dinner. All of these berries from one little half-dead plant. Now I have to come underneath the shade cloth and get them all off of this one. But these guys are a lot of berries. Now the next thing I really need to do is come in here and grab all these shishito peppers. Now these are just really, really, really heavy hitter peppers. So you guys know how my tomatoes did crazy? A lot of these shishitos are drying up on this plant because we are just getting so many shishito peppers that it's hard to kind of keep up with eating them all. Now the next thing I'm coming in and grabbing are some jalapenos. Look at these little jalapenos growing in, guys. And then the last thing is going to be some Swiss chard for dinner. So guys, my shishito plants are doing amazing. They're producing a lot of shishitos. Now that one shishito in the bed is drying up its shishitos. Now it is growing a lot taller than the other two that are in the pot. So I am thinking of just cutting it back. But I had a really bad disease in that area of my garden. It was called black leaf spot that only affects peppers. Well, I think it only affects peppers. And it basically destroyed my pepper plants, I want to say about 3 years ago. And the only way to get rid of it is to pull the pepper plant and not plant peppers there for like 2 years, which is what I did. And so this is the first year that I'm planting peppers there, which is my shishito pepper, and it's just not producing the way that it needs to produce. Now my other shishito peppers are giving me peppers that look like this. This is a normal size shishito pepper, and this is a normal shishito. This one is drying up when their size is like this. So I'm going to probably cut that plant back and see how it does, but I'm probably just going to pull it and plant the black cherry tomato there, because I have decided to plant that black cherry tomato on an arch because I think it'll be a lot easier for me to pick cherry tomatoes off of it when it comes time to pick cherry tomatoes, because that thing grew huge, guys, but the amount of black cherries that are in my freezer make everything worth it. So I went and just grabbed a Swiss chard leaf to show you guys. Now this is the front of my Swiss chard leaf, and this is the back of my Swiss chard leaf. If you guys notice, this Swiss chard is in perfect condition and it's growing in the hot Arizona heat. It's growing underneath the shade cloth, but it is taking the heat. So if you guys are looking for a heat tolerant green, I do suggest Swiss chard. Now we even chop up Swiss chard to put on tacos as a replacement for lettuce when it's too hot. And the biggest way that we use Swiss chard is by sauteing this with those cherry tomatoes and some onions and garlic, and then putting that over rice. Now it's going to grow a lot slower, so it is going to take time for it to get to a cuttable size, but it also doesn't get bitter until later in the summer where it's really hot. And you'll know it's time for your Swiss chard just to become worm food when it's like super hot, like 115, 120 degrees outside and 103 at night. But for right now, we can still hold on to our Swiss chard. So don't take your Swiss chard out of the bed. It's gonna be fine. It's just gonna grow a lot slower. Now come August, we'll probably talk about something different. But for right now, Swiss chard's doing amazing. It's not even getting attacked by bugs. So that means the plant's happy. So I hope you guys had fun with me going out to the garden, looking at some solutions and harvesting a couple vegetables, and then seeing what I got going on in the kitchen. But until next time, grow yourselves a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.